Today we'll be starting a new road to glory here on EA College Football 26. We had some fun with this last year with wide receiver Arturo Modelo, and I'm excited to run it back once again. Last year we picked a 3-star player, so I didn't want to do that again. I thought about maybe doing an underdog, but I kind of want to get some early playing time and be relatively good off the bat. So I think for this series we are going to pick a 4-star. There's another reason why I ultimately picked a 4-star, which I'll explain shortly. As for the position, I know I didn't want to do receiver since we did that last year. I was originally planning on doing running back, but I changed my mind, ultimately opting for Mike Linebacker. I think this is going to be maybe the most fun position to use in the game because defensively we're going to have so many different responsibilities, whether it's as a run defender, a blitzer, or in coverage. I think I'm going to pick the lurker archetype. I like the combination of athleticism, run stopping, and pass coverage. Our pass rush ratings are going to be pretty low, but I'm not too worried about that. The only time we're going to be rushing the passer is off of blitzes, and, well, we don't really need super high pass rush ratings to begin with. The next question is, who will our Road to Glory character be? It will not be this guy, Benjamin Scorpio, although that is a pretty cool name. So I've been thinking about it over the last couple of days, who we're going to pick for Road to Glory this year, and I think I found the perfect person. Golden State Warriors superstar Kaji Stokes has been making a name for himself on the hardwood. In his 3rd season in the NBA, he's already become an all-star level guard and is the #1 scoring option for a championship contender. However, basketball was not his first love. He was a great prep football player and played through his senior season of high school, where he eventually became a 4-star recruit in both basketball and football. Today, we will be altering the course of time. What if Kaji Stokes never had a growth spurt? And what if he chose football over basketball? Welcome to the Kaji Stokes Road to Glory here on EA College Football 26. Stokes is from Watkinsville, Georgia, and plays for Oconee County High School. Their team name, the Warriors. I felt like it was only fitting. I downloaded this real school off of the Team Builder Vault. Since most of the creators out there are using some of the generic high school uniforms, I figured it'd be fun to use a real high school. Now, for what it's worth, Kaji Stokes obviously ended up choosing basketball, and he played his college ball at Marquette. Marquette does not have a football program in the game, so we will really be altering the course of history by choosing a new school for Kaji Stokes to go with. I made his appearance as similar to our character in the Warriors franchise as possible, although I changed his size a little bit. In the Warriors series, he's 6'5", but here, he never has a growth spurt. He stops at 6'2", but he adds 30 pounds of muscle and is now 220 pounds, which is still a little bit undersized for a linebacker, but it feels like the modern linebacker is getting smaller and smaller as time goes along. This is what I ended up choosing for his equipment. Give us a 360, buddy. Oh yeah, look at the twirl. So this will be Kaji Stokes' drip. I think he looks pretty cool, and I think he's ready to rock for his senior season at Oconee County High School. These are his styles. The linebacker one is probably the only one that's going to matter. I gave him a wide base. I do really like that EA added those into the game this year to make all the players feel a lot more unique. So this is our player, Kaji Stokes, a 4-star lurking Mike linebacker from Oconee County, Georgia, not too far away from Athens, Georgia, where the Bulldogs play. Could Kaji Stokes commit to his hometown school and then probably be arrested for a driving-related violation within 6 months of his commitment? He'll start as the 136th ranked player in the country, 14th in the state of Georgia, and then 9th ranked Mike linebacker in the class. Alice Zimmer, the local TV reporter, will be talking to us about what we're looking for in a college team. Ultimately, we want to win, so I'm going to choose championship contention. Makes it a little bit ironic that he chose Marquette in the Warriors series, since Marquette loses in the first weekend of the NCAA tournament every year, but that's besides the point. I think we're going to choose state-of-the-art facilities. I want to see us develop as well as possible, just like we've seen in his NBA career with the Warriors. Between those two, I'm going to pick pro potential. Marquette is not very close to Georgia, so I don't think Kaji Stokes really cares about proximity to home all that much. Our head coach, Marco Dell, is going to talk to us about our upcoming senior season. I think being rude would be a bad idea. This is our head coach. The last thing we need to do is make this guy an enemy, because if he doesn't like us, no one will. Now we've got to choose our top 10 schools going into our senior season. Some of these selections were kind of strategic. Others I chose at random. So let's take a look at the 10 schools we'll be choosing. I decided to have a mix of highly regarded programs along with lower tier schools. Since he went to school at Marquette in the state of Michigan, we're going to start with both Michigan and Michigan State on our list. If we do want to stay home, there are some choices. We're going to put Georgia on the list. I'm going to put Georgia Tech on the list. And as a small school option, in case either this year goes poorly or we just want to revive a smaller program, I decided to add Georgia State as well. For our last 5 programs, I decided to pick at randomly a little bit more. There wasn't really too much reasoning into these choices, but I decided to add Cal. I figured I needed a California school with how well he's played for the Warriors. I decided to add Tulane, one of the stronger group of 5 schools in the game. I decided to add Boise State for the same reason. I decided to add LSU, add another big school into the mix. And then for our last spot, I decided to go with Appalachian State because I think their stadium is one of the coolest in the game. So those will be the 10 schools that we have our list set to for the start of our senior season. Now, technically, we don't have to pick one of these 10 schools. We could commit anywhere we wanted to at the end of the year. But these are the 10 schools who are going to be closely monitoring us and battling it out for our services next season as a freshman in 2026. For those of you who don't know how Road to Glory works this year, in high school, we're going to play a set of moments for each of our game, and if we complete the goals set for each moment, then our tape score will increase. The better our tape score is, the more interest that schools around the country will have in us, and our recruiting ranking will reflect as such. Even though I'm a 4-star, we could theoretically move up to a 5-star if we play well. We could also move down to a 3-star if we don't play well. In week 1, we're playing against a top 10 quarterback in the state. I'm not fazed. I'm confident. I was hoping for more of a cocky response rather than, "Got it, coach." Teacher's pet. So we're going to play against Warner Robins High School here in the first week of the season. And of course, we have to pick which moments that we're going to complete here for our first game. We have 5 choices here and we have to pick 4 of them, all of which have different goals, and they all have different boosts for each of the 10 schools that we selected at the beginning of the season. I kind of wanted to pick the easier ones just for us to be able to set the tone a little bit. I've never done a linebacker career mode, so we're kind of going to be learning on the fly a little bit, but I'm going to choose your time, 2-minute drill, drive staller, and hold the line. We're going to play 4 different drives this game, 1 for each of these 4 moments, and hopefully Kaji Stokes does pretty well. It is very rainy here for our first high school game of our senior season. Why is number 19 so much bigger? We literally created an NBA player, yet that dude is towering over us. We're facing off against the Orcas who come out onto the field while we're going to run out with our teammates. I think this is a pretty cool feature as we get to look at the fans. I like that you can switch the controller around, sort of take in all of the scenery. So let's get started with our first drive of the season. Your time. Early in the half, the quarterback is trying to heat up, but it's your time to flip the script. We cannot let them get a touchdown, and we need at least 1 tackle. On 3rd down, quarterback breaks the sack, looks to scramble, floats it up, down the field, and it's caught! What a catch at the 50 to keep the drive going. Part of what's intriguing about playing linebacker is we're going to have so many different responsibilities. We're going to have to play man and zone coverage. Here we are, lined up in zone with a big hit on the ball carrier. So we complete 1 of the 2 goals. We got the tackle, and now we need to stop this team from getting a touchdown. On 3rd down, we're on a blitz. Quarterback winds up deep down the field. It's broken up, incomplete. Our first moment, we complete both of the challenges. Off to a pretty good start. 2-minute drill. It's pretty simple. We've got to make sure the opposing team does not score a touchdown or get into field goal range. We would get a ×3 boost from Michigan. So if we want to go to the Wolverines, this drive will be especially important. On 1st down, quarterback under pressure, and he is sacked. Since we don't have to get a tackle, I'm not worried about making a play near the ball, but more so I'm just trying to cover as well as I can as we get another sack. On 2nd down, the pass rush looking good. That'll make it a 3rd and long. As they are chewing clock, they've essentially waived the white flag. And we get another sack, although it's not a safety, even though he was very clearly in the end zone. How is that not a safety? Hold the line early in the quarter and deep in your territory. The quarterback is confident, but you are locked in. Basically, we cannot let this guy score a touchdown. The problem is they're starting with it inside the red zone. On second down, they're going to run the ball up the middle, trying to make a play near the ball carrier as he's going backwards. I would like to think my shove may have contributed a little bit, and that'll make it a 3rd and long. Quarterback looks to throw it under pressure. Sacked again. This pass rush is really good. Another moment complete. We're doing a good job, even though we only have 1 tackle. Drive staller. Late in the game, time to shoot the gap and get a tackle for loss. We're up by 1 score, and we're trying to win the game here in the 4th. It's a blitz. Under pressure. Fumble! Strip sack picked up by the defense. Kaji Stokes on the first play at the drive with a strip sack to end the game. A big splash to end our first game of this season. And that play and that win is going to help us get some offers. We'll start off with Purdue. So we're already getting some power conference interest. Granted, Purdue is probably the worst power conference team in the game right now. Vanderbilt gives us an offer. I guess EA College Football saw my video yesterday with the teams you should use for Dynasty. Virginia gives us an offer. Now we've got one in the ACC. And some of the schools we had interest in are going to offer us, including Georgia State, along with Appalachian State. So through our first week of the year, we already have 5 scholarships, and we're quickly rising up the recruiting rankings. 48th ranked nationally, 5th in the state, 3rd at the position. The Appalachian State staff liked what they saw, and they see me as someone who can potentially contribute early on. The perk of going to App State over a school like Georgia or Michigan is that we would get to start right away here. So we're going to try to be polite. I think it wouldn't make sense to say something rude. So this way we can build a good relationship with the Appalachian State coaching staff, given that we're interested in their school and they're interested in us, already having given us a scholarship. If we're going to continue to play this well, already being a top 50 recruit nationally, does it make sense to go to a small school in the Sun Belt like App State? I don't know. With these bars, we can see how far along in terms of getting scholarships with the other schools. LSU, Georgia, and Michigan a little bit behind the rest of the pack, which makes sense. As we simulate the week, we get more offers. Navy is going to offer us a scholarship. UConn is interested in our services. Maybe we can play basketball there too. Liberty gives us an offer as well. So that's 8 teams who have now offered us a scholarship, including multiple power conference teams, as we're continuing to rise up the recruiting rankings. 30th ranked player nationally and the 2nd best Mike linebacker in the country. Are we ready for this game? We've got a good opponent on the schedule. They are a pass-first team. They have a lot of good receivers. But again, this isn't anything we can't handle, especially considering I'm not really going to be responsible for covering those receivers. We've got a college entrance exam this week with our friend Lane. I think I am going to study for it because a lot of the schools that we had interest in are like really good, smart schools. So my thought is if we perform well on the test, it'll be easier to get scholarships from a school like, say, Michigan, who we expressed a lot of interest in early on. Georgia Tech as well. Obviously, they're a great school. University of California, Berkeley. We put them on our list. It was more so a coincidence that I put a lot of the smarter schools on our list, but I figured it makes sense to perform well on the test for them. Sharon Moore is going to give us a dynamic challenge this week. Michigan is one of the best teams that we have interest in. We already are rising up their list, given that we performed well on that test. And now we're going to have a specific challenge only tailored towards Michigan against the Dalton High School Tornadoes here in our second game. We had like 8 different moments to pick from this time around. Now that I've kind of gotten the hang of playing linebacker and feel pretty comfortable, I decided to pick some of the more challenging ones, including Michigan's moment where we would get a ×6 boost if we complete the goal. So I'm going to choose everything in front, zone savant, done deal, and then Michigan. Bring the boom. All right, let's get to our second high school game of the season. It's raining again. Is the weather just going to be perpetually this bad throughout our season? I mean, as long as we play well, it can be rain, sleet, snow. They can put us in a friggin' desert for all I care. running out with the teammates again. I'm curious to see what it would look like, without the rain, but that's neither here nor there. Everything in front. They're pushing deep, but you're the buffer that keeps it clean. We don't necessarily need a tackle or anything on this drive, although that would be nice. We're just looking to keep them out of the end zone or away from field goal range, but they're moving it pretty well. The big conversion on third down, and they ended up bringing that one all the way past the 50, so they're not too far away from field goal range. Another third down, quarterback under pressure, he is sacked. Are these defensive linemen going to Georgia too? I mean, my God, our pass rush is unbelievable. Zone savant. Late in the half, they're trying to exploit the seams. We're going to have to get a tackle, and specifically get a tackle in zone coverage. So I'm going to choose zone for every play until we complete the goal, if we complete the goal. As on first down, quarterback goes up the middle, and unfortunately our teammates get there first. Seems like we have some good tacklers on our team. Here on second down, under pressure, he avoids the sack. They get the first down. Almost made a play, but again, not quite. Clock is ticking, minute and a half to go, down by 7. That was our chance! I could have made a play on the ball. I was too worried about making the big hit. I could have intercepted that one if we timed it better. On third down, the quarterback ends up evading the pressure. We're going to try to get him. He fumbles the ball, and we scoop it up. Do not complete the goal, though. We did not get a tackle or a tackle in zone coverage. Michigan, bring the boom. We need to get a tackle for loss on this drive, and if we do, we will get a 6 times boost for Michigan and only Michigan. So because of that, I'm going to blitz pretty much every play. Not a bad start, though, for the Tornadoes. First play of the drive. There goes the running back all the way into the red zone. So now we don't really have many more plays to work with, given that they had the ball at the 13-yard line. On second down, we're going to try to line up near the line of scrimmage, and we blow the play up, but they don't give us credit for the tackle. I guess because it was an assisted tackle, but I'm the one who blew the play up. I had the initial hit in the backfield. How am I not getting credit? Third and long, we're going to blitz again. Our teammate gets the sack, but we do not complete the challenge for Michigan. That'll bring us to our final challenge of the game. Done deal. The game is in the balance, and one play can decide it. We need to prevent a touchdown, but we would get a lot of points with a pass breakup, a tackle for loss, or an interception. So I want to balance potentially blitzing versus being here in zone coverage to where we can make a play on the ball, nearly forcing the fumble. A big hit by KJ. We're up by 3 with around 3 minutes to go. Quarterback under pressure, and he is sacked again. How many sacks are these guys going to get? This is unbelievable. Let me have a chance to make a play, guys. On third down, we send a blitz, and we get another sack. They're going to have to go for it on fourth and long. I think it would be pretty stupid to blitz here. So we're going to be in coverage, hoping they target us, kind of sagging off a little bit. He's just going to dump it off short, and we're not going to be able to make a play. We do prevent the touchdown, though, and we end up winning the game, which is probably the important thing, but we unfortunately do not get a pass breakup, an interception, or a tackle for loss. Despite that, we're going to continue to get the offers rolling in. Duke gives us a scholarship. Maybe we can play basketball for them, too. Georgia Tech, they were one of the 10 schools on our list. They offer us a scholarship. Louisville gives us a scholarship. Seems like the ACC is interested in us. Michigan State, another school on our list. They give us a scholarship. Missouri gives us one, too. So now we're starting to see some SEC interest. Tulane gives us one as well. We moved down, though, in the recruiting rankings because we didn't complete many of the goals, even though I feel like we played pretty well. But we're back to the 130th ranked player, which is pretty similar to where we started today. Now we're talking with Cal's head coach, Justin Wilcox. They say they have a big need at Mike linebacker, and while he cannot promise we're going to start right away, he thinks I'm better off joining his program and would be more likely to see the field early on compared to some of the other big schools. We now have more interest potentially from Cal. With that, we're ready to sim the week. Our team is 2-0 up to this point, and we'll see if we continue to rise up the list for some of these other schools. We're pretty close to a scholarship from Cal. We already have 5 of the 10 teams on our list who have offered us, and hopefully we can get the other 5 to join them as well. As I sim the week, we do get the Cal offer, so we're off to a good start. They're not the only school, though, who has interest in us. Indiana, a playoff team from last year. With head coach Kurt Signetti, they're going to give us a scholarship offer. The University of Minnesota, the Gophers, they're going to give us one, as will Rutgers. A lot of schools in the Big Ten. However, our recruiting ranking is continuing to dip. We're the 178th ranked player nationally, 16th in the state, 11th at the position. As we talk with Coach Moore once again, we didn't complete his goal. I feel like I played pretty well. I am going to give a disappointed answer. I say I didn't play too well, which I feel like is wrong, but okay. Unfortunately, this hurts our interest with the University of Michigan. We're going to talk to Coach Dell here for our next game. We're playing against an option team, and being a linebacker, our discipline is going to be very important. They're going to try to trick us with who they give the ball to, so we need to be ready for anything. Playing against an option team, I would argue the linebackers are going to be the most important players on the field, so we are certainly going to have to perform in this game. Our friend Alex is going to ask us about homecoming. Look, buddy, I got bigger fish to fry. No, we are not going to homecoming, Alex. So that's going to give us +5 tackle for the next game. Yeah, we could have had a fun time at homecoming, but I'd rather have a fun time winning this football game here in week 3. Unfortunately, the bar for Michigan did go down quite a bit as we set to face off against Thomaston High School here in this next game. I'm going to pick pitch disruptor, win the edge, read keys, and splash play for week 3. So let's hop into this matchup. It's raining again. Do we just live in a monsoon or something? I also noticed that every game we play seems to be at home, which is kind of odd, but okay, I guess. What I do like here is they gave us a unique walkout. Now we're facing the crowd. I like that they have different ones, so that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at our first moment here for this next game. Pitch disruptor. Early in the quarter, the option gets rolling, but you've seen this look before. So basically, we have to get a tackle, and ideally, a tackle for loss. Given that they're going to be running the ball a lot, we have a good chance of making plays in the backfield, but we've got to read the plays correctly. It's a late pitch, and unfortunately, this blocker is doing a great job of staying engaged with us. We're probably going to be blitzing a lot, I have a feeling, today. I'm curious to see how often they will potentially look to throw the ball. They're going to do it here on this play, so clearly they're not afraid to pass it. Defense does get the stop on 3rd down, and I thought they were going to go for it for a second, but they're ultimately going to punt it away. So that means we do not complete the drive goal, although this is a sick camera angle on the punt. Unfortunately, we did not get a tackle there, though, since the drive was pretty quick. Win the edge. They're pressing the perimeter, hoping you'll hesitate. Beat the block, get a tackle, and keep them out of field goal range. We're down 10-3, so the team really could use a stop here. So we try to bounce off the blocker, under pressure, and he is sacked. Oh, that was it? That was quick. Well, we kept him out of field goal range, but no tackles. Let's try it again. The backfield's in motion, but your eyes stay calm. Get a tackle, specifically on a blitz play. So we're going to be blitzing every play here as they're going to go for the screen. Can we get off the blocker? We do! Big hit. It only took one play, but that's all we need to get the tackle, as it's 3rd down and 17 now for the opposing team, and a tie game here in the second half. Quarterback looks to throw it, and he is sacked again. Another quick drive, but we did get an early tackle, so we do complete the moment. Splash play early in the quarter, and you're just getting started. Jump the option, shoot the gap. Let's get a hit stick tackle. Now, they've been moving it slowly but surely down the field. We haven't gotten one yet. Almost got a tackle there, but not quite. Unfortunately, we do not complete the moment. So, individually, I thought I played fairly well. We didn't give up any big plays in coverage. We had a few tackles, but we didn't do a good job of completing our moments. We're going to continue to get the offers rolling in as Boise State gives us one. They were another school on our list. We get one from the University of Miami. That's where Arturo Modelo went last year until Miami was terrorists, so he transferred to Ole Miss, who also gives Kaji Stokes a scholarship. USC gets one as well. If I want to lose important games in November, I know where to go. Fight on. So our ranking is going to go down to 182, and I'm worried after I simulate that it'll continue to go down because we didn't complete many of the moments. I could have redone them, but I feel like that kind of takes the fun away from the challenge. So most of the teams we have interest in have offered us at this point, as BYU is going to give us a scholarship. Their NIL packages seem crazy, so hopefully we can get a good one. Iowa gives us a scholarship. South Carolina offers us one. Playing on the same defense as Dylan Stewart would be crazy. But we go down to the 190th ranked player in the class. Ready for this week? We're facing off against a funky offense. The offensive coordinator likes to get motions, jet sweeps, and other gadget plays, so not entirely dissimilar to the option team that we played against last week. We're going to be given a dynamic challenge from head coach Kirby Smart with the Georgia Bulldogs, and his challenge is to get into the car and drive as fast and as illegal as we can without crashing or getting caught. Sounds like a big challenge. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it. Well, if we are successful, I think what I'm going to do is take a picture in front of the car and pose. We're going to post it on social media, and we're going to say, "Go Dogs." So this will probably help Georgia's interest because, as we know, they do not like people who can drive responsibly. But the other schools do care about that because they have a reputation and a standard to uphold. We're also going to chat with Jonathan Smith, the head coach at Michigan State. They're going to be watching this next game closely, and we're going to have a highlight challenge for them, just like we did a couple weeks ago with their rival, Michigan. So we'll see what the challenge is for the Spartans as we're set to face off against Bainbridge High School. The Snakes, or the Rattlesnakes, or the Rattlers, whatever their mascot would be here in this next matchup. We're going to choose double take, everything in front, locked up, and then Michigan State's Ball Hawk challenge. So let's get into our next game. It's raining again. We may just never play in good weather ever, unfortunately. But we are going to run out in the slip and slide as we get set for our first moment. Double take. Early in the quarter, the misdirection is coming fast, but you're a step ahead. Time your blitz, crash through the chaos, and punish the opposing ball carriers. We need to get a tackle specifically on a blitz play. 2nd and 2, they've got a receiver in motion. Quarterback keeps it. We read the play. We shot the gap, but somebody else got there first with the sack. That'll make it a 3rd and long. Oh, get back, get back. Okay, good. I was worried we were going to be offsides. Quarterback is going to go short, and they will end up getting the first down. Kind of a good thing for us because it keeps the drive going, and it means we can potentially complete our challenge. Here on 1st down, they're going to run it up the middle. We almost got him. I practically tackled my own teammate. Then on 3rd down, another close one, but we do bring down the ball carrier. He does get the first down, though, but we were the one who finished off the play, completing the challenge. We'll see if we can keep him out of the end zone for the hell of it, completely missing that play, although we gave him a shoulder at the end to finish it off. Now on 2nd and 1, we're getting heavily involved in the run game. They're going to run it up the middle, and we're going to get another tackle. They're moving the ball well, but we're making a lot of plays with the ball carrier. I think that's a tackle on 3 consecutive plays. 2nd and 21. This quarterback has no time to throw, and he just keeps getting sacked. I feel like we've had more sacks than opposing QB passing attempts in this video. 3rd and 31. He doesn't get it off again. It's damn near 4th and 50. We do complete the moment, though. Everything in front. The offense is trying to stretch you thin. Stay disciplined. We don't need to get a tackle, but we do need to prevent a touchdown, and we also need to keep them out of field goal range, up by 3 here in the 2nd quarter. Another run up the middle and a big hit! Another tackle. Unfortunately, that's not really going to help us out, but that was a cool play. We've had a lot of hard hits, I've noticed, even though we are the lurker linebacker as we get another tackle on 2nd down, playing a great game. I hope head coach Jonathan Smith likes what he sees. Quarterback keeps it on the option. We got baited there, and he ends up getting the first down for the Rattlesnakes. 2nd and 11 now. They're moving it somewhat well, near the 50. Quarterback is going to go for the screen, and we are there again to bring down the ball carrier. They would end up getting the first down, though, the following play, and are continuing to move it down the field, even though we've got like 6, 7 tackles in the first half. A big hit out of bounds. We have played a great game so far, but they now have the ball at around the 30-yard line. That puts them in field goal range. So even though we've had a great drive with like 4 tackles, we don't complete one at the drive goals, and now we've got to hold them out of the end zone. 2nd down, they're going to run it up the middle. Breaks away from all the chaos, and now the Snakes are in the red zone. We'll see if they can punch it in, certainly hoping they don't. As it is a 2nd and 12, they're going to pitch it on the reverse, and our guys see it coming from a mile away as it's a loss of 8. 3rd down and 20 now for the Snakes. We're going to have a lot of guys back deep in coverage. The goal is simple. Keep them out of the end zone. They're going to go short, and we finish off the play with yet another tackle. I feel like you should get like bonus points for making good plays, because we had like 5. Early in the quarter, they want to isolate and confuse you. Don't bite. Now we need to get a tackle, ideally a hit stick tackle, as our team is down 17-10. They run it to the left. We can't get out of traffic. A big play for the Snakes as they get it near the 40. We'll see if they can move it pretty well. This time it doesn't really matter how the other team does. It's just that we have to get a good play individually. We got fooled there on the option, as did the entire rest of the defense, as it's a gain of nearly 20. So this drive, we're not going to get the tackles, the drive that we needed to. Yet last drive we are. What are we doing? Short throw, easy tackle opportunity, and we get it. We didn't get a hit stick, though, but at least we got a tackle. Now lined up on the boundary on 3rd down. I'm trying to bait the quarterback into throwing it my way, but he doesn't get it off. So we don't get the hit stick tackle, but at least we got a tackle. Our final challenge is just for Michigan State. 1 look, 1 read, and you're gone. We need to get a hit stick tackle, and we will get a ×6 boost with the Spartans if we do. The problem is they're moving the ball really well. Quarterback on the option gets it to around the 40-yard line. We had all those hit sticks in the first half, and now when we actually need to get one, we're not getting any. Now it's a 3rd and 13. I've ran some blitzes early in the play. They didn't work. Here we are in coverage. Quarterback going for the end zone, and it is broken up. We don't get the hit stick, though, so unfortunately we don't get the bonus for Michigan State. We are going to continue to get the scholarships rolling in. Auburn will give us a scholarship, although look at that. We are only a 3-star recruit. We just had our best game, yet we went down. Michigan gives us a scholarship. We've been talking to them for a while. Tennessee gives us a scholarship. You're the only 10 I see, buddy. We also would get one as well late from Georgia Southern, another hometown school. I don't know why Georgia Southern waited this long. But yeah, we're only a 3-star, the 431st ranked player nationally. We were in the top 40 at one point. It's weird because I feel like we've gotten better as the year goes along, but clearly the game thinks otherwise. So our 4-star blue chip player, for now at least, is no more, and we're going to try to get back to a 4-star status. The lower tier schools are going to be offering us most of the scholarships, at least for now, as we get one from Arkansas State. Hopefully this is not a sign of things to come, and we continue to get the offers from the big schools, as the University of Buffalo would be next, followed up by Charlotte. Not a great cast. We plummeted down the recruiting rankings. 930. I just had like 10 tackles in that last game. We're going to talk with Coach Smith. Obviously, we did not complete the goal. Listen, you haven't quite accomplished what we're looking for. We still think you're an excellent prospect and could eventually help us. Just keep at it, okay, slugger? Why is he talking to us like we're 7 years old? Unfortunately, it does not help us, though, with Michigan State. Well, it's senior night. Can you believe it? Our final game of the high school season. I'm proud of everything you've accomplished here. We're going to have all the seniors and families in the stadium early before kickoff, and we will be recognized with our senior teammates. We've got to get a win this week, though. It's our last chance before we commit, and during this week, we're going to have to narrow our list of schools from 10 all the way to 3. I think what I'm going to do before I cut our list to 3 is play this game, see if our recruiting ranking goes up, and see if we get more late scholarship offers before officially figuring out where I might go. For now, though, we have scholarships from every school that we have interest in except for LSU and Georgia. We're pretty close for LSU. Georgia's going to be a little bit trickier, though. I guess Kaji Stokes is a responsible driver. We don't have to pick one of the 10 schools we have listed. As I mentioned earlier, pretty much every other school in the country has a lot of interest in us and would be willing to give us a scholarship. I'm going to pick Life of the Party, Showtime, 2-minute drill, and then Hometown Hero for our final drive of the season against the Camilla Cougars. It's fitting that our final game of the season is rainy. Again, we've played in the rain every single game this year. The weather gods hate us as we walk onto the field with the flowers. A very cool moment for Kaji Stokes as he gets set for his final high school game before committing to a school. Life of the Party, early in the half, energy's everything, and you're the spark. Back-to-back plays, let's rally the defense. We need to get 2 tackles while also preventing a touchdown. Here on 3rd and 8, under pressure, sacked again. So we do not get 1 tackle, let alone 2, but we do hold them out of the end zone. 2-minute drill. They're moving fast, but you're reading faster. And we could get a ×3 boost for 6 of the schools that we're interested in, including LSU, who of course has not offered us a scholarship. All we've got to do is get 1 tackle and keep him out of field goal range. On the screen, we missed the easy tackle! Oh my goodness, that was right there for the taking. Are you kidding? On 3rd down, they fumble the ball, pick it up, and I bring down the offensive lineman. It's unconventional, but it gets the job done. We got our tackle. That'll bring us into the 3rd moment of the game, showtime. There's no easing in. Show your range. Make a tackle, specifically a hit-stick tackle. The score is 6-9. Nice. As we're looking at a 2nd and 12 here in the 3rd. Quarterback looks to throw it up the middle, and that'll be a big first down. A really nice play after the catch in what has been a low-scoring game. I feel like every game has been low-scoring, probably because, for one thing, this defense is awesome, but also because of the rain. Broken up on 3rd down, so we do not get a tackle or a hit-stick tackle. And now it's time for our final moment of the season. Hometown hero. Less than a minute to play. Final drive. Let's make this an unforgettable night for ourselves, our teammates, our family, and friends. All we've got to do is prevent a touchdown, and that's a good start. Quarterback loses 3. 3rd and 13 with 43 seconds left. They've got 1 timeout in their back pocket, down by 6. Under pressure, quarterback is going to go short, and we are right there with the tackle. That'll make it a 4th down with the game on the line. Quarterback under pressure, wants it all for the season, and it's incomplete! The Warriors get the stop, we win the game, we complete our final moment of the year, and that will push us back up to a 4-star recruit. As we get a scholarship offer from Florida, we get one from Florida State, we get one from LSU, and we would also get one from Texas. So the big schools knocking on the doorstep as we move up to the 431st player nationally. A lot lower than we started our senior season, even though I feel like we played better and better as the year went along. Well, now it's time to narrow the list down to 3. Who are the schools we're going to pick? Every school we had interest in, except for Georgia, offered us a scholarship. And, well, pretty much every other school in the nation would be willing to give us a scholarship. But we've got to figure out our projected role. We would start on a lot of teams, including a lot of good teams. We could start at Michigan. We could start at Alabama. There's a lot of big-time schools where we can get early playing time. So I wanted to pick 3 schools that are all very different from each other. The first school in our final 3 will be LSU. We're going to be the 3rd linebacker off the bat, so we're going to have to work our way up. But if we do, we'll be playing for one of the best teams in the country in one of the best environments in the country. LSU's 2026 recruiting class is looking fairly strong. They've got plenty of talented players, and we hope to be the next on the list, although they do have multiple higher-ranked Mike linebackers on the board that they're currently going after. The second school on our list will be Tulane. I wanted to get a really good group of 5 school in the mix to try to help lead this team potentially to a playoff spot. They're currently ranked number 18, having a great season, and we would likely get to be a starter here right away. Kind of a coincidence that our first 2 schools are in the state of Louisiana. That wasn't necessarily on purpose. That's just how I picked. We would be the 2nd highest ranked player in their class. For the 3rd choice, hometown hero. Staying in the state of Georgia with the Georgia State Panthers. They are a 1-star, 65 overall school. We'd be by far the best player in the class, but I think a highly ranked recruit like me could potentially change the future trajectory at Georgia State. So for now, LSU, Tulane, and Georgia State is our final 3. We're likely to commit to one of those places, but we could still change our mind if we want to. From there, we're going to simulate to the end of the season, and we're going to make it up to commitment day, where we're going to have a chance to pick between the 3 schools on the list. So I've simulated to the end of the year. We have made it to signing day, where we get to choose our hat. Penn State beat Oregon in the national championship. If we lost to James Franklin in the championship, I would be sick. You guys would not hear from me for about 2 weeks. But now it's time for our big day. KJ will choose the school that he will start his collegiate career at. We've got hats for LSU, Tulane, and Georgia State on the table. But who are we ultimately going to pick? Decisions. We could go to a big powerhouse program like LSU and compete for a championship right away. We could go to a school like Tulane, who's battling it out in the American Conference and is a playoff hopeful themselves. Or we can change the trajectory of a one-star school like Georgia State. I could also go back and pick a different school as well, since I saved the save file, I believe, right as I narrowed my list down to 3. So we could theoretically go to any of the schools that we want. But where will the decision be? I think I'm going to let you guys decide where we go to school. Let me know in the comments which team you would like us to take our talents to. Could it be LSU? Could it be Tulane? Could it be Georgia State? Or is it another school that you guys want to see us go to? Hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the Kaji Stokes Road to Glory here on EA College Football 26. Make sure to leave a like. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.